Everybody, it's the Ordinary Joe show, and I'm pretty sure if I'm not famous already, I will be after this next guest. I'm super excited to bring you the lovely and talented, the amazing Chuck Fefchak, who Chuck and I have been friends for about 45 years, I think, but we're only 25 years.
Yeah, so it really hasn't been that long.
It hasn't been that long. We're still in the prime of our youth, and I'm super excited to share this podcast with everybody. Chuck and I have been shooting the shit here on Zoom here for a few minutes, and I was just explaining to him that the one thing that I love about this Ordinary Joe show is that this just gives me a chance to shoot the shit with regular people who are doing really, really cool things. And like I said to Chuck, doing things that make their bum tingle, light their bum on fire, and really just jazz them up, which is what life is all about. And if you're not out there doing the shit that makes your bum tingle, go out and do it because life is short. So without further ado, thanks, Chuck, for being on my little show. I really appreciate it.
Man, thanks for inviting me. When you started doing this, I thought, oh, that's a cool thing because it's just an ordinary Joe doing really cool shit. And so I get to be a part of the cool stuff.
You are always part of the cool stuff, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and it's been like a million years since we've talked. So if anything, this is just a good time for us to catch up. Holy shit, it's
Catch
been
up
a
and visit.
yeah, it's been a
Uh,
minute.
yeah, I think the last time would have been, I was living in Virden and I moved from there in the late 90s, but you had moved from there long before that.
Yeah, that's right. So a lot has happened. So guys, again, if you need to get snacks, this might be a Netflix series in itself, just catching up.
Jeepers,
Yeah.
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 So we did theater together, you and I.
We did. We did. And I think we
We did a scene in the Legion and Verdun where we were
oh,
reading menus.
that's right.
The
That's
heck was it?
right.
And Izzy was in that too. She might have been the waitress, actually.
No, no, no. I wonder if she was in a different one. There were two plays that night.
There were,
And
that's right.
yeah, and wasn't oh no, the guy Franco. Franco was the waiter in ours.
Jean Beliveau hockey puck.
Yeah.
He reminded me of one that we did in Verdun. Were you in June Groom?
No.
He and I were, but I had forgotten all about it. Like it
Okay.
was, and that was years ago. He told me that via Facebook Messenger. Yeah, we've done a lot of. When you directed Little Shop, I
Yes.
was sound and lights.
That's right. Tracy and I were talking about that because she helped you.
She did.
Yeah.
That's actually where I met Tracy.
That's right. That's right. So talk to us, Chuck, a little bit about like you've been in theater for a million years. So when did you get your start and your love for it? And yeah, tell us about your journey into just performing in theater.
Wow. Well, it was a Monday night it was a Monday night, and I'll explain that why. I know that we were I would have been 19. I would say 19 years of age. And you used to live out by Cromer. Do you remember
Yeah,
the Blue Palace?
the Blue Palace.
It was just south of town, a little blue house. Anyways, we would go there every Monday night. We played Trivial Pursuit, like
Oh,
the
okay.
original Trivial
Yeah,
Pursuit,
yeah,
and drink a barrel of beer each. And it was right. And in the summertime, we'd play slow pitch first
yeah.
because we had a Cromer slow pitch league that we played, and then we'd only drink three-quarters of a barrel in that time
I
because
know.
we drank a third of a barrel at the slow pitch field.
Right, right.
So my friend Henry, it was getting late on the Monday night, and the game wasn't done yet. And my friend, I said, well, you know what? I'm not doing anything tomorrow night. Why don't the three of us come out and we'll finish this game? And my friend Henry said, I can't. I got a theater rehearsal. I went, what? And I called him something in the vernacular of the times that is politically incorrect. So I won't say it. I questioned his sexuality. Can I say? But it was okay to say that back then.
Right.
And he looked at me and he says, well, you couldn't do it. Challenge accepted.
Yes.
Fucking rights can. Sure can. He said, well, we're looking for we need a role filled. So come to the Odd Theater tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And that's where I met uh, uh, Colin Campbell, Patty Yates, Dennis Yates,
Right.
Chuck Dunning was there. And I got this role as Lieutenant Goddard in a play called something I can't remember. Uh, and it was just freakingly good,
Yes.
freakingly good. Barry Stewart played the lead,
Okay.
and he was amazing
Yeah.
because Barry Stewart is amazing when he's on stage. Henry bailed, by the way. And I guess from there on, I just got hooked. I loved the thrill of going out there and doing something where you get one chance. There's no net. So
Yeah.
you might fall off the trapeze, but what a rush when you don't.
Anything can happen on the stage when it's live. Like anything can happen, and that's a super rush.
Well, it can be. It's super scary at the
Yeah,
moment that it happens.
that's right.
But when, okay, 10 fingers, yeah, nobody's dead.
Yeah.
That was a rush.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For sure. That's excellent. So where did you go from there? So was it community theater in Burden that you did? Because I'm
Yeah, if you remember, the odd had been condemned for
mm-hmm.
quite a while,
Yeah.
and the Verdun Dramatic Society, as it were, had folded while it was done. And Patty Yates, along with a few others, Doreen Bond was in that mix, Laura Wright was in that mix. Um, they decided that they wanted to get this thing going after the renovations and the condemning was lifted. So they called themselves the Phoenix Players,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
rising from the ashes of
Yeah.
the ruins of the odd theater. But we also joked about the fact that, you know, Verdun Dramatic Society is the VDs, so we really didn't want to be that. So
Come for a show
the
and a side of
Phoenix,
syphilis.
you're the guy with gonorrhea.
Yeah.
um, the the Phoenix Players still actually exist in Verdun. I went and saw a play
Okay.
done by the Phoenix Players,
Yeah,
1,000 years. So it's kind of cool to be a charter member of a group that is still going.
that's right.
And I fell in love with the theater, yeah, but I fell in love with the theater, like the Odd.
Yes.
The
What a
the
great
Odd
place.
is it's a brilliant place, and and the nice thing about it, it has the original seats from the turn of the century, I think,
That's super
because
cool. Yeah.
they're hard. There's a big fundraiser on to redo the seats. I went and saw my niece there last fall, and it was brutal. It was two
Yeah.
act play, and if I had had a second ass, I think it would have went square on me as well. It was just we had a tough time,
Yeah.
but the venue itself, you know, with the red velvet loges and the stamped copper ceiling, and anyone that I don't know, it's kind of like the Burt, wouldn't you say?
I guess so. Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
something
it's
really
of the
special to it.
same vintage.
Yeah.
Burt is bigger, but not hugely bigger. It is the balcony, especially in the Burt,
Yeah.
is holds more people. But I fell in love with that place.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I ended up going to Russell. Do you remember Alex Aiken? He was a
No.
lawyer in Verdun.
No.
He was a big, tall Scottish guy with a
Okay.
terrific accent. Oh, he did. Anyways, he had done a play just before I moved to Russell called The King, and there was uh, Kathy McDougall was in it. Keith Loudon was in it.
Okay.
Kirk Campbell, remember Kirk the cop? We used to call him Perkins. He
No.
was in it.
Okay.
Anyways, it was the story of the crucifixion, but told from Pontius Pilate's point of view.
Okay.
In the trial and blah blah blah, and ultimately the confession that he wheedled out of Christ. So that was kind of cool. I got to meet Alex, and we took that to a an act fest in Winnipeg, and had a terrific adjudication. And Colin Campbell was playing Christ. The first time I'd seen anyone physically cry on stage was at the act
Wow.
fest.
Holy.
He because I was Pilate. I know, big surprise, but I've actually played pilot in 5 different plays.
Ah,
So, anyways, he was questioning Colin into the nature of the questioning that Pilot was giving him. And I didn't buy any of that. I didn't buy the fact that you were, knowledgeable of what was about to happen and accepting it, but it was really tearing you apart emotionally. And he did a whole lot of Q&A with Colin. And then he just looked at me and said, Pilot, feed him that line in the last page of the scene. So I started feeding him lines. And when we got to the point where it was really tearing Christ apart, Colin literally started blubbering,
wow.
like blub, 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 blub. And I, as Pilot, had one line: "So be it, my friend. You have confessed." And I signed the paper, and the lights go down, and holy crap! I
Yeah.
mean, goosebumps this
Yeah.
big. Like,
Yeah.
never had seen that emotion. Fast forward a couple of years, I've moved from Verdun. I've become the chicken man.
That's right.
I'm
Which
I'm
I,
living I'm living. Yeah, that was one of those things. I was living in Russell, and lo and behold, who do I run into in the grocery store after about 7 or 8 months? But Alex Aiken,
yeah.
who had moved his practice from Verdun to Russell, and he still wanted to do theater. So between us two, and a couple of other guys, we formed a little club. We did one full play, but he would write stuff,
Oh, yeah. Cool.
and we would do it. And
Yeah.
we would have an evening of whatever, a little skit and 25, 30 minutes. And then we'd have a dancer maybe. And then he'd come out with his accordion. And we did a whole thing on John A. MacDonald. He
Okay.
played he played John A. MacDonald behind a scrim on
Okay.
stage in a
Yeah.
rocking chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when I moved back to Verdun, I don't think that's maybe where June Groom came in with Franco. And that's when you and I would have done our stuff. Is after I
Right.
moved back from Russell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, that it was Russell, and then I moved to Thompson, and then I moved back to Russell, and then back home.
Yeah.
So nobody wanted to direct because of the enormity of the job. You were teaching high school at the time, so you directed Little Shop.
That's right. That was a pile of
Um,
fun.
and it was a great show. And as it so happens, in 2018, I directed Little Shop
Oh, yeah.
and thought of you quite a bit.
Right on.
Thought of you quite a
Yeah.
bit. A lot of these scenes were set up the way you had set them up, because
Oh,
it was
okay.
easy for my Polish brain to figure out. When I moved down here, which would have been 98, I hadn't done a show in quite some time. And I got the paper one day, and I was reading in the back, towards the back, and somebody in the Flatlands Theater in Winkler had done The Importance of Being Earnest, which was also a show that we did with the original Phoenix Players way back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought, gee whiz, I would have liked to have seen that. So then I was working in Morden, and I ended up living in Darlingford. I moved in with a partner there, and she had said, like, you don't have time to do theater, even though I talked about it an awful lot.
Yeah.
Uh, when that ended and I moved to Manitou in 2005, about a year went by thereabouts, and I'd heard that there was going to be a dinner theater in the Manitou bar. Okay, well, I wouldn't mind going to see that. So as it happened, I was getting coffee at the gas station on my way to work, and I recognized a friend of mine, and I knew that he was involved with this dinner theater. So I said, "Hey, Hack, any tickets left for that dinner theater?" He said, "Yeah." I says, "Great, set me one aside, because I'm going to come." And I got my coffee, I paid for it. And if you're ever doing anything like that again and you're looking for somebody, give me a shout. You do theater? I haven't done it in a long, long time, but yeah, I really like that. That was on a Wednesday, because on Thursday I got a phone call, and it was Richard Clausen. He says, "I'm Richard Clausen. You were speaking with Daryl Hackle." And I said, "Oh, you probably want a visa number for that ticket." "No, actually, Daryl said that if you'd be interested in doing something with us, if oh," I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, it just so happens there's 4 of us doing this dinner theater, and one of them dropped out. Do you want to take it?" I went, "Oh, Sure. Yeah. He says it's not fancy or anything like that. It's there's some improv, and I says, when is it? Um, well, it's tomorrow.
That's great. No pressure.
So I
Yeah.
said, well, he says, and it's lots of improv. There is one scene that requires a little bit of memorization, but
That's
just kind of playing
fantastic.
it by ear. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, holy crap.
Yeah.
So
No.
we met at Hack, Daryl Hackalt is his name. We met at Hack's house that night. I met him and I met Richard and I met another fellow, Rob Riddell, and we were the Shaven Apes. And Rob and I did a complete pantomime sketch. And then a couple of guys did, Hack and Richard did the Abbott and Costello sketch. And we did a, whose line is it anyway? Scenes from a
Okay.
Hat, where the
Yeah. Yeah.
audience fills out crap.
Yeah.
So I had to pretend I was drowning in shaving cream. And I had to talk like Bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
But I can do that pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we did the scene where the blue collar humor, Jeff Foxworthy and the gang,
Okay. Yeah.
they did the thing about, well, their decks. You know, they're barbecuing, they're talking
Oh,
about their decks. My decks got soft on me. I don't
yeah.
know what. Um, and that just kind of was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And because we were doing blue collar humor, there was literally a case of Budweiser on the stage in a cooler. So I drank 4 beers. That's which was fun. Never done that before.
That loosens things
Or
up.
since, mind you. I got a call from Richard, oh, that summer. And they were doing a comedy version of MASH, kind of taking little tidbits from all the episodes and making but it was a traveling show and I was working and I just said, I can't. So it was the following spring that he contacted me about Les Miserables, that he needed somebody to play Javert.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, the show was at the Passion Play site in La Riviere.
Oh, wow.
They have had a passion play that Richard was intrinsic in acquiring the land, building the stage and the set, and forming this club that I think they've done it more than 25 years. I've been to it once. It's quite good, but I know the ending, right?
Right.
So we did Les Miserables, not the musical, the dramatic version, on
Okay.
that stage. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just morphed. Like Candlewick, who is Richard Clausen, does a summer show every year.
Yeah.
So we've done musicals and we've done biblicals and we've done dramatic, but we don't do them outside anymore. We do them at the Manitou Opera House, which is, Manitou, 808 people. It's got an opera house.
I lived in a van in the Manitou ballpark for a summer, a month. Well, a month, and then we upgraded to the hotel.
What were you doing there?
Was it Manitou? Yeah, I think it was. Pipelining. We did a big
Oh,
pipelining
yeah.
job down there, and they told us at the time that we got $75 a day for our living allowance, and we could either stay wherever we wanted or stay in the hotel. And I cheaped out and tried to live in Dad's van for a while. It was damn cold because it was just a bed. Yeah. So yeah, Manitou's a good town. No, was it Manitou? It might have been because we also did a big,
Manitou, the pipeline goes right past it.
yeah, and we did a big sleeving job down there too. We stayed in that hotel when it was brand new for quite a while.
And Manitou, the Trappers,
It beats the hell out of me. It's
like
years
right on
ago.
Main Street.
Yeah, right off the highway.
I don't think it's Manitou then,
Where
because
the hell?
Manitou's is down off the highway.
Well, it's a little bit off, but like it's not that. Yeah, didn't
And the
seem that
opera
far.
house is
It's
right across the
years
street from it.
ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Manitou. Anyhow, I cut you off.
No, that's what we're doing. We're
I
shooting
know.
shit.
Shooting the shit.
So yeah, from we do it in the opera house. We've always done a Valentine's dinner theater. 14 straight years I was in it. This year I was busy. So for the first time in 14 years, I got to sit and have supper and
Yeah.
watch Pride and Prejudice,
Oh
which I
yeah.
really wanted to be in because That's a great show, and I think I've seen the play a half a dozen times by various groups, like literally high school and middle school students doing it because Richard teaches classes. We go to the Kenmore Theater. You might have stayed in Morden if the hotel was right on the highway.
Well, we stayed in both. We did a big sleeving project, so we stayed in every town. Yeah.
I've worked the pipeline. I used to before I moved down here. I
Okay.
was working 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. in my little red Chevy Cavalier,
Okay.
guarding the right of way.
Oh, we did that too. We did that too.
No cell phones.
That's
Uh,
right.
no cell phones. No two-way radios.
That's
No
right.
guns to shoot somebody that's planning on stealing that generator. Well, you're way bigger than me, sir. So I don't see you.
That's right.
Getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to sit in your
Yeah.
car, smoke cigarettes, and drink coffee all night.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm glad I got the job in work because another 6 months of that, I'd probably be crazy.
Crazier. Morton's a
Yeah,
nice town.
crazier. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. So, anyways, yeah, I through the years I've done a lot of Candlewick shows, and I've also done quite a few Flatlands out of Winkler. Um, Flatlands has a home base of it's an old church. They call it the PWN's Hall. It's gorgeously renovated and decorated, and it's beautiful. But it has some weird acoustical quirks that will surprise echoes that you get if you're on a certain spot on the stage. Whereas the Opera House is just like the Ott.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
hear a pin drop in that place.
Yeah.
Every room, we do a lot of musicals there, so I've even done a couple. And people that are singers love the Opera House.
Oh, yeah.
Like Aaron Clausen, who is like one of our musical directors and a wonderful actor and a fantastic singer, um, says every wall, every room in the building is acoustically fantastic.
Yeah.
She's going down stairways, little narrow stairways in the back, and singing her brains out. It just sounds so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't sound that good when I do it, but it sounds pretty good when she does. So yeah, I got to know the inner workings, I guess, of both. Richard has used me quite a bit as an assistant director, a character director. So that basically means he's looking after the dialogue and the big picture up front with the two people that are supposed to be heard or being heard.
Yeah.
And I'm running around at rehearsals, giving little tasks to the people that need to be doing something in the background so it looks legit,
Right. Right.
which that's how I watch plays now.
Yeah, because it
I
all
watch,
has to flow, right?
right. What's going on back there? What's
Yeah.
she doing? What's he
Yeah.
got over there?
Yeah.
And with the nice thing about today's television, what's he got? Pause, rewind. Oh, okay.
It makes it all believable.
Well, and it you never ever think of that until you're kind of half-assed responsible for it. And then, okay, well, what are other guys doing?
Hmm.
Because how do we learn? We always learn from other people, except how hot the stove element is. That
Yes.
we can figure out on ourselves.
It only takes once.
Most
Oh, yeah,
people.
hopefully.
There's some slow studies out there.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, I didn't get to do the Valentine's Day dinner theater because I was making a TV show.
Yes. So
It's
let's
still
talk
bizarre to even
about
think about that.
that. Yeah, making a TV show. So how the hell did that even transpire?
One of the people that I met through Flatlands, and I've done a whack of plays with her and her husband and their two kids, and I've directed one of her kids in a show as well. Tina Fairkaler, extremely talented, fluent English, and really fluent in Low German. Like she is a Low German speaking person.
Wow.
January of 22, I got a text that she roundabout said, I'm writing a script, and every time the father speaks, I hear your voice.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha, that poor bugger, you know. Then I realized or found out through, just advertising and Facebook and whatnot that they're doing this TV sitcom,
Yeah.
Maria and the Mennos.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Got a text. Would you audition? Well, it's 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I got a mortgage. 10 weeks. I got to work. Um, so I said no, I can't. And besides which, I'm not a Mennonite because the guy playing Hank was Mennonite.
Yeah.
No, but I don't speak Low German. I have little tidbits of Low German. Well, no. It's mostly English, but there's going to be Low German expressions. I've heard you use them all the time, which I
Ah.
do. I
Yeah.
I, I, I use a lot of. I speak Winklish.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Winklish.
I coined that.
I like it.
So, um, the summer went by. I was busy because we were doing Fiddler on the Roof, and I was in the background going, "Do this, do that."
Yeah.
And learning lyrics and missing notes backstage and as we're supposed to be singing as a chorus, but had a great time doing Fiddler on the Roof. The summer rolled off, and my girlfriend Erin, that's how I met her doing theater. So kindred spirits to say the
Yes.
least.
Yes.
She wanted to be in Murder on the Orient Express, which the Flatlands Theater Company was doing in the fall. And I said, go do it.
Yeah.
Like, after all, you haven't seen me for June and July because I've been busy with this. So you deserve to do something on stage. Go and kill it. I'll look after what needs to be looked after. If
Yeah.
kids need to be hauled here and there, whatever. So she went and got into that, involved in that. And I hadn't heard, there was a second casting call in the meantime, and I just totally ignored it. Then I got actually called in to play a role because somebody had backed out of Murder on the Orient Express. So we did the show. Tina happened to come to one of the shows and blah, 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 visit. That was great. She was there on opening night. On the Friday, I was at the theater. I got most of my costume on. I had some of my makeup done. I needed to get the rest of my hair done, and then I was going to put them. I was scrolling in the green room, and
Yeah.
I saw Tina. And hey, thanks for coming last night. Great to see you. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, did you ever cast that guy? And she goes, no, we haven't been able to yet. There's been a couple of guys audition, but why don't you just come and talk? And I says, well, she says, Bing, I just sent you some sheets. Read it, record it, and send it to me.
Oh, I love it. Excellent.
Okay, so I read with Erin in this kitchen at this table,
That's great.
and sent it. She says, what the heck is this all about? And I said, it's about nothing. It's about they want to hear my voice because she's got this idea that I could be in this sitcom, but don't worry about it. We went and did the show. That said nothing. By this time, I've already confirmed the fact that the Valentine's Day dinner theater is going to be Pride and Prejudice. And knowing that, there's a lady named Patsy Penner. I met her on theater. She wants to play Mrs. Bennet, and I want to play Mr. Bennet because that's the roles that we played when we met each other. And we were excited about it.
Yeah.
Sunday, I get a message. Can you come in for an audition today? Well, no, I got Sunday to do. Well, I can come tomorrow. Okay, Monday, 4 o'clock. Come in for an audition. So she's heard the things and she wants an audition. Part of me was, what? But most of me was saying, she's being kind. She's my friend, and she's just being kind. And Tina is a very kind person. So I told Erin this is what was going to happen, and okay. So I drove in Monday, went to the Fort Garry Mennonite Church, met a guy who I had met before once in another short film that I had helped Tina make. Did my audition, read these sheets. He said, do you have, okay, so you've got all the memorizing done? I wasn't told that I had to memorize anything. And I am absolutely the worst audition ever. I don't memorize shit. I
Yeah.
can memorize shit, but I don't go in there and have a monologue prepared.
Oh, yeah.
The
Right.
first time I was asked of me, I says, well, I could talk about myself for 5, 10, 20 minutes if that's what you want, but I don't have a prepared, memorized monologue.
Yeah.
Can you memorize? Heck yeah. Okay. Did the audition, met one of the directors, Paul. He's also one of the writers and co-creators alongside Tina. He was like just deadpan. I'm reading with this lady, no idea who this lady is. turns out this is the lady that's playing Sarah, my wife. This is
Okay.
Erna, but
Yeah.
I didn't know her.
Yeah.
We're reading off the same script because she didn't have it memorized either. Um, 20 minutes, and Paul said, okay, thanks for coming. That was it. Do you know, I just drove like, damn near 90 minutes. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
back in my car, was using CarPlay and texting back to Aaron. Well, that was the quickest 20 minutes of my life. And it was a nice day for a drive at least, but I don't think he's interested. I think one of the other two guys at audition has caught his eye and he's paying lip service. Next morning at 7 o'clock, I get a email. Yep, you're Hank Friesen. I'm like, holy shit. So I've already talked to Erin about it. She's on board. Like she says, go. Like if you get this part, why wouldn't you
Yeah.
do it?
You have to.
Well, that's hurdle number one. But I still need a 10-week leave of absence.
Right. Right.
So I march in and say I need a 10-week leave of absence, and I guess I asked for it. Do I have a job on March 15th? Is what I said because I'm going to do this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They would be pumped for you though, hey?
Well, a lot of people were pumped. My boss wasn't entirely pumped because
Yeah.
it's a small dealership and I've been there a long time and other things go on. He's got two boys playing hockey
Yeah,
and
true.
he's going to dealer meetings, one of which he had to cancel because I can't leave the place.
Yeah.
Either him or I that are there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got the part and had no clue what I was in for. I was excited.
Yeah.
Told my family. My family was excited. It was all over Facebook. I was being asked to, come and talk on the radio and
Yeah.
yak about it. And the newspaper was calling me. And
Yeah.
it was hot local news.
Well, and
Uh,
people are excited that you're doing your dream, right? Like people
well,
are
and that's really, I mean, one of my sayings has been for years. How you doing, Chuck? Living the dream.
living the dream.
But like starting at the 1st of December, I really was
You
living the
were.
dream.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's inspiring as hell.
we did Facebook Zoom meetings and we did read throughs all through the month of December. And January 3rd, I walked onto the set.
Yeah. And where
It
was
was a
that?
house in which the couple that lived in the house still lived in the house. Every Monday, we'd take over at 8 o'clock in the morning and we'd be out of there by sometime around 5 o'clock in the evening. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were there. And they just kind of made themselves scarce and cordoned off some rooms that were just verboten. You don't
Yeah.
get to go in that room.
Yeah.
And we just respected it, right?
Sure, sure.
Um, I I'd never been in the house. I'd seen pictures,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the size, and I was really worried through all these read throughs about the blocking
Yeah. How do you
because
do that?
and maybe you do things differently. When I get a script, and we do a read through at the night that we get scripts. Now, I always race home that night and start highlighting because
Yeah.
that's how big of a nerd I am.
Oh no, I would be all into that. Yeah.
It's a race, actually.
Oh.
There's a few of us that race and we're taking pictures. I'm done. Yeah, but I have a longer drive home.
Yeah.
Um, so I would take that script to the play that we were doing and I would have it in my hand and read, and we would block these scenes and you'd make notes in the margin.
Yeah.
And that's how you would do the entire script at least once, twice, with the script in your hand.
Yeah.
Once, and the way it works for me is I will highlight so I can visually see my lines much easier. That just makes sense. There are people out there that don't highlight.
I don't know how I would never
What's
function.
wrong with them? There's just no way I could do that.
I'm not sure we could be
But
friends with those.
I don't, they're not friendlies. So you got the script, you're learning the block and you're making the notes and you go through that a few times. And then when you're at home and practicing, because practicing and rehearsal is not the same thing, you go home and you practice, and then you bring your ass to rehearsal somewhat readier than what you were the last time.
Right.
That's just It's unwritten rule, but if it isn't written, it should be.
Yeah.
From there, you start to memorize mostly at home. In my case, outside in the garage, smoking continuously and pacing a hole in the concrete. It's awful. Um, then you lose the script. Now you've got the blocking and you've got the talking, and now you work on character.
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing in the background while this is going on? With this process and the television show is exactly opposite. We spent the month of December reading it, and the comments were being written down. You're feeling this way. You're making character notes so that when you get to set, um, and all along we're missing blocking. You do character, then you do lines. The blocking comes 3 minutes before you start recording.
Wowee. Yeah.
And okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's exactly opposite. So
Interesting.
I walk into the house, I get the grand tour, I meet a such a bunch of talented people from beginning to end. That is one thing that if I ever do this again, I'll never be able to duplicate that crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
That there's if there is a season two, and that's a big if, somebody's going to be busy on another job because that's what these people do.
Right. Right.
This is me going and doing it and getting paid a little bit of money to be a Mennonite, but this is what these guys do, and they go from one job to the next, to the next. I thought I was talking to 40-year-olds when I was typing emails to them in December. Most of them are in their 20s,
Yeah.
like 24, 26, 25 years old. Like, wow. And they're all so talented. They all do acting and singing, but in this case, they're the crew. There
Right.
was one. There was one of the script directors that also acted in a couple episodes and directed a couple of episodes. And she was COVID protocol, and she was continuity, and Kiana was just simply amazing. But the entire crew was just wow. You go to a theater, and you're getting ready for a play. You walk in, you check your costume. You make sure there's no rips, you make sure there's no dust on it. You go backstage, you check the props table. All my props are there and in place. Go out to the stage, make sure that all the presets have been done. You do that. I know you've done that. You don't get to do that.
Ooh,
There's somebody to do it for you.
yeah, it's a different world, hey?
You walk in, morning, Lauren, here's your costume. Hi, Kalinda, come on in for makeup.
Yeah.
Um, and all the set stuff. Lucy was our set decorator, set director. Wow. Like she thought of everything. Need to be cooked food, there'd be cooked food there.
Amazing.
She was always first one there.
Yeah.
So she was somewhere between 7:15 and 7:30. She was arriving.
Yeah.
And we just come along when we were supposed to come along, and everything got done for us. It was a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Um, uh, the four castmates, I knew one person going into this, two if you count Tina.
Yeah.
But I knew one of the actors because he and I had done some shows, and his sister and I had done quite a few shows. You go in and you block your scene. Okay, so you'll be over here and you're going to cross over here, and then they say, okay, give the set to the crew, and the techs come in and they set the lights and put the filters, and the cameras put the two where they want them and put the lenses in that they need. Okay, and if you need to go and change in that time, that's when you go and change.
Okay.
And you come down to this thing, and all right, can we have the actors in? We may do one practice run through if there's some complicated blocking, or if there's food involved. Often we do because you can't say your line with a mouthful of cabbage borscht.
Not on camera anyway.
Well, yeah. And you do the scene 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Okay.
And then they say, okay, give the set to the techs again, clear the set. The techs move in for what they call detail. And you do the scene 3, 4, 5 times again.
Oh.
and that's where they're getting the close-ups, right? And then
Oh.
they all edit it out, and then when you're done, if you're done in the living room, then you may go to the kitchen because that's the next one. Or if there's another one in the living room, it's just a different time of day or a
Right,
different
right.
day altogether.
Yeah, yeah.
You block that. Okay, cameras are going to be in a different location. We run upstairs, we change our costumes if that's what we need to do, touch up our makeup if that's what we need to do,
Yeah.
go and grab a glass of water, scroll the phone for a little while because it's not like rehearsals. You don't have it in your hip pocket.
Right.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was more fun than I can ever put into words, frankly.
I believe
And
you.
and a lot of it comes from just the people that you're with. And you've done theater, so
Yeah.
we're a strange bunch, you know,
Well,
and all of our bums tingle.
all of our, yes, there's a lot of bum tingling going on because you're working
Oh,
together to create something really special. Like
right,
you're building and creating and something that wasn't there before. And you're being vulnerable in a sense that, like giving of yourself. So there's a lot of bonding.
exactly.
Yeah,
It
totally.
was there. We became the four main characters. Myself, Erna Peters, Kenton Dick, and Victoria Exconde played the four main characters. We became family. Like
Hmm.
it was easy. Victoria, I still call Maria.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have a tough time not calling her Maria the next time I run into her. But case in point, she's a hired gun, right? Like she'd never done a television sitcom before. But while we were doing the sitcom, she was going to fame rehearsals and she's performing it tonight in your town at
Oh,
the Gaslight.
wow. Yeah, yeah, okay.
She's amazing.
That's
She's
cool.
incredible.
Yeah.
The whole story was about the idea of a Mennonite guy marrying a Filipino wife, bringing her to Winkler. And there's where the comedy starts, right?
Right.
Because they're going to move into mom and dad's house. Uh, Sarah and Hank, very conservative, but not over the top conservative um, Mennonites who have a set way of doing things. No, not that other people don't have a set way of doing things, but
Yeah.
a lot of Mennonites things are just a little bit unique.
Fair.
The same as if you had a family of Scottish people, they
Oh,
would have
yeah.
some traditions that perhaps they brought from the old country. Blah blah blah. It's it's the not clash, but it's the counter action of two cultures. And the surprising stuff that you find, well, that's kind of similar. We have a similar process. We just
Yeah.
say it differently.
Right.
Um, it's funny. It's
That's
funny.
I'm excited to
Um,
see it.
the so am I because I haven't got a clue. That was another huge difference.
That's
And
yeah.
those of us that have done theater love comedies because you get that instant feedback from the audience.
That's
Oh,
right.
that one died. You know, you don't even realize that you're getting it until you're on a set and you're not. I
That's
mean,
right.
the crew will titter after the guy says cut, but halfway through that, there's a funny spot that nobody can laugh at.
Right. Right.
that's
And that's
that's
what kind of feeds you, like on the stage, that's what kind of feeds you, you
the
know.
energy.
Yeah,
But
for
the
sure.
but within the cast and crew, and I'll always say cast and crew because it wasn't just the cast, it wasn't just the four of us and the extras that came on, although there were some great people that I met that they're friends now. They're
Yes.
friends for life. I mean, anytime I run into that girl that played Tina, her and I have made a Verdon connection. She knew people from Verdon from way not long after they moved away, but they used to live in Verdon. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I know them because it's Verdon. You know
for
everybody,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
The cast and crew gave off such an energy. You could get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you go all day. You have a half an hour, 45 minutes for lunch, and if you're not in the scene that's currently being done, you're off someplace else just scanning the lines.
Yeah.
You're not leaving the house. You're just being quiet because when they say quiet on the set, they freaking mean it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like no coughing, no whispering, because the sound guy, he hears everything.
Oh
He
yeah.
hears every. So it's kind of fun you're waiting to go on, and your mic is live, and they're just talking about the certain angle that they want this camera to get, and the sound man's just standing there with his boom like this, and you whisper, "Get that fucking boom in the air," because he hears the slightest, tiniest whisper. So you're energized all day. You could be there till 5 o'clock. You not once do you feel, oh, it's been a long day.
Right, right.
You get in your car, you start your drive back to the place where you're staying in the city. You're 2 miles away from the set, and it hits you like, I am whipped.
For
And
sure, for sure.
every single day, as soon as the energy people go away
Yeah.
and you're by yourself, you're tired. Now you realize I guess I did work hard today.
Yeah, because you're
And
giving of yourself.
I didn't lift a finger,
Yeah.
but I worked hard.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So we did that for 9 weeks in the city. And then we said goodbye to it. Of course, that's emotional because
Hmm.
that's been home. Like you've gone there every
Yeah.
day. That's been home. And so they're going around the speech like we're not done. We still have a week of remotes going. And I'm standing next to Maria, and how big is the lump in your throat? I said mine's about fist size right now. I I walked around the house. We're taking down the pictures.
Oh yeah.
We're taking down 2 pictures of my parents. Their engagement picture, and I think it was their 40th wedding anniversary. We're taking down photos off the wall. We
Yeah.
took down my mom's parents. Big, big ass. Took that down. Wow. Um, and then you're loading up all the costumes that you won't need because we've got 7 more days and she's keeping what she needs.
Yeah.
So here's the rest. Okay. Then we came out to Winkler and did the last week. We did a hymn sing at the Fort Garry Mennonite Church in Winnipeg, and then we did a they call it a Schweineschlacht here. It's pig butchering,
Oh,
and it
okay.
still happens where they'll 5 families will bring 5 pigs. They'll slaughter them, hack it up, and make sausage and share the meat, and that's your meat.
Yeah.
We did a thing at the Altona MCC store. Now that was away from Winkler, but we just called it that, and we did it there because it was Canada's first MCC store was
Oh,
Altona,
cool. Yeah, right on.
not the original. They've done it up. Apparently, it's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what MCC stores are supposed to look like. I've been in a couple, but
Yeah.
they're just an empty room with lots of clothes and dishes and stuff. We finished up at what was a goat farm. It wasn't a goat farm. It used to be a dairy farm. It's a friend of mine, so he and I have done a ton of theater,
Yeah.
and so we just visited off to the side because that was on the Friday. I wasn't shooting on the Friday, but I was there, and that's not usual. I needed to be there for the closure. On the Thursday was
Yeah.
both Erna and Mai's last day of shooting.
Yeah.
Um, we finished it at the Winkler Arts Center. We were having a Filipino festival, so there was a ton of extras and bright blues and yellows and reds of the Filipino flag. People wearing costumes. It was just a huge day for Hank Friesen. It was 13 hours on a concrete floor in dress shoes. I just felt like I'd been at a freaking trade show all day. I was exhausted.
I guess.
But I knew it was my last day of shooting. So there's emotion number one. Okay.
Yes.
We'll put that there. And I I knew the order of the scenes, even though we're shooting out of order. I knew that not only we were going to be there all day, which was an extremely long day.
Yeah.
Most days were 7 to 8 hours and we were out.
Yeah.
This was a huge long day, drawn out. So we have the last scene that we're going to do. The last scene that we're going to do happens to be what you'd call it like a kind of a fulcrum point for Hank.
Oh, okay.
Um, and it was an emotional scene. Um, it was also the very last scene of the day. And to top it all off, it was the scene that I auditioned with.
Oh, wow. Holy crap.
But now I understand what I'm reading and
Yes, because
saying,
it's in
and,
here.
and how much of the episode that was mostly recorded at the house in Winnipeg, because it's out of episode 9.
Okay.
It was mostly recorded at the house in Winnipeg, but it's come full circle.
Yeah.
What I read and read in 6 different ways to try and make this guy happy and thought I'd failed. Now I had to read it in a manner. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but
No,
it
no.
it was supposed to be emotional. As I'm reading it, I'm supposed to have tears in my eyes, and Sarah's supposed to be crying. We went through it. The director says, "Cut." The extras had gone home, but there was still all the cast, regular cast, and the crew there. Just started clapping. That's the only time it ever really happened. Like everybody just started, and I just looked at Erna and I said, "I guess we did good." And she has like tears, and she
Holy
goes, "We're
crap.
never going to be able to do that 7 times in a row."
I can't wait to see it. I can't
And I
wait.
look up, two, one of the actors and one of the crew, they're done. They're bawling. Everybody, as you look around,
Yeah.
has tears in their eyes.
Jeez.
Okay, so we have to do this again. And we did it again. And we
Yeah.
did it again. Finally,
Holy.
Kenton, the guy that played my son, Kenton, a Dick comes up and he just gives me a hug and he says, "Shit, you guys just keep on nailing it and nailing it." And so it's kind of flattering. It wasn't all just what we were doing. It was a combination of knowing, oh, this is their last scene.
It was
Like
everything.
they knew this,
Yeah,
and they knew what this moment meant to us. So it meant something to them
for
because
sure.
we were one big happy family.
Yeah.
There wasn't not 1 minute that this crew slash cast had a disagreement.
Yeah.
Not one. Not that I saw. Maybe some of the directors beat the snot out of each other up behind, after all the actors had cleared. No, I doubt that happened. So that was a big rush to
For
do that.
sure. Yeah.
There's the instant feedback though, right? There's
Right.
there's there's the oh, well, shit, I can do that again. Let's roll them.
Bring it. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We've had a couple of uh, um, gatherings since then. We had to meet to do one of the videographer for the show itself is making a BTS behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Cool.
So they've got interviews at the
Oh,
beginning.
that's super, super.
He's got scenes of rehearsals and scenes of some of the shooting,
I
and then
love
at
it.
the end he's got a denouement where we're all alone and we're just
Oh,
answering questions.
I love
Uh,
that. I love that.
yeah, the attention to detail on a company like Ode Productions was amazing. Paul Platt had never done anything like to this magnitude, and Paul Platt's that's what he does. He makes films,
That's
shorts and
super.
stuff, and he's even done some features, but never an episodal kind of
Right.
thing,
Okay.
episodic, a
Yeah.
TV show. Um, Orlando Braun is the not Orlando Bloom,
I
Orlando
snooped him out
Braun.
on Facebook, actually. Yeah.
I mean, they're all brilliant, but he'd be, I guess, the executive producer,
Oh, okay.
and he also directed a couple of episodes, and he's just fun. Like
He
he's
looks
just
fun. Yeah.
always wears a bow tie.
Yeah.
In fact, the first episode that he directed, on the last day, we all showed up wearing bow ties.
I love it.
It was fantastic.
That's great.
So we were talking. He was there. We were wrapping up what we needed to wrap up, and he was there for the last day at the house. And of course, he rubs elbows with some pretty heavy hitters. This guy.
Yeah.
He shared with us at the morning meeting that people in the business have been coming up to him and saying, "A company of this size has no business doing what you're doing. Like it's amazing that you've even wanted to, because the budget was pretty small.
Yeah.
There's no budget. Um, we just didn't even think of that.
So how did
because
your friend get it going? Like that's what I'm like. So she wrote like getting the idea and then doing it and then getting it picked up. Like how did that happen?
that's $1 million question. I really don't know the ins and outs. Long story,
Yeah.
quite short. They contacted Yes TV, which is a cable network out of Burlington. It's a family faith station.
Okay.
And a lot of the show, because it's about Mennonites and Filipinos,
Yeah.
it has some underlying faith issues. Not overwhelming. It's not preachy. It's a comedy, but
Yeah.
there's always that thing that God is a part of it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So they picked it up, and I don't know if somebody had contacts or if it was Orlando or if it was Paul or Tina. I didn't ask. I didn't think it was any of my business.
No. But I
And
think
and
it's
besides
just
which, I've never done anything to this size before, so I don't really give a crap how this happened because I still can't believe in myself that it's happening.
yes. But I just think it's so fantastic that your friend had the vision, had the idea, wrote it, created it, and then made it happen. Like big kudos. I think that's
Well,
super.
yeah, she and Paul Hazel Wallace was another one because we needed both Mennonite and Filipino background. So
Yeah.
Hazel Wallace and Alec Carlo, um, they did all the writing, and then they shared it all by Zoom because it was right in the middle of COVID when all this was being
Yeah,
written.
yeah, yeah, right.
Uh, and where there were moments that needed to be not exact, but it needed to reflect a Filipino tradition.
Yeah,
Well, we had Hazel and Alex there to have that input. When the Mennonite traditions, and how they were going to mix those and how this was going to be the main plot line, but there's two other little plot lines that are going
right.
on and how they were going to match up. That was those four.
That's
Did they have
cool.
input from others? I guess so.
Yeah.
Matt Falk, who I know you must have heard of Matt Falk. He's a comedian, lives in Niverville.
No, but
He's
I might
flipping
have heard
hilarious.
him. Okay, I'll check
He's
him out.
flipping hilarious. He did comedy punch ups.
Okay.
I had met Matt before, and he actually came to set a couple of the days too. He's he's done theater, and he's had a sitcom that he recorded. I never saw it, and apparently it didn't really take off,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he is funny, so he
Oh,
helped even on set.
yeah.
There was a number of times that he would go out, and he came to me a couple of times and said, "When you're doing this, try not to tita and do the tita tita tita." Oh, yeah, okay. Because yeah, I've done. I don't even know how many shows I've done, like theater wise.
Yeah.
Somewhere more than 150, but
Yeah.
probably not 200. Um, I know a lot of stuff just by School of Hard Knocks, but somebody that you just have 20 seconds of conversation. Oh yeah, yeah, I can do that.
That's
So
super.
you always learn. And I it's a shame that not more people do it because
Yes.
some people just got that real, I couldn't possibly. But
You're
like you, I can grab a piece of paper in front of an audience and have bullet points and talk like, how long have we been talking? An hour.
I know.
And it's mostly been me. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's the whole reason. Like, I mean, I think that again, like I told you before, the reason why I was so keen to have you on this show is that our lives go like that. It's like this and 5 years is gone. And there's so many of us that think, "Oh shit, I would really like to do such and such," or "I really have such and such a love of hobby or whatever." And then before you know it, years have passed and you haven't done it. But you have been doing it for years and years and years, doing the stuff. And now look at like, I mean, one more thing that you're doing, which you're not doing for the money for the accolades, but just because it's just super fun.
It's super fun. The,
Yeah.
the money made it possible for me to take
Yeah.
off from work.
Yeah.
Um, it, I don't know that I'm not further ahead in paying down my visa, so it wasn't that great.
Who knows where it will take you though, right? It's a
Well, and
yeah.
I've done. There's a guy in town here who contacted me in January, wanting to be a part of the project. He used to live in the Philippines. He did had his own company there for 35 years.
Yeah.
Um, and I said, well, you got to talk to Tina. So I gave Tina his contact information, and
Yeah.
turned out, I mean, the guy's just overqualified. Like he owned his own film company.
Holy
But
shit.
as when I was finished, I helped before I was finished, he wanted to do this short, and I said, "Well, I can't." He says, "Well, do you know anybody that?" I said, "Well, I would ask this guy, and then there's a couple of people. I'll ask if it's okay to give your contact info."
Yeah.
And he cast it, and he did this little short. He had a 2 short festival,
Oh, that's
one
great.
night only, that I
Yeah.
couldn't attend because it was my girlfriend's daughter's birthday. And
Yeah.
hey, we have a thing that we do on everybody's birthday, and it doesn't include going to that because
Yeah,
they don't
right.
want to see it. So
Yep.
sorry.
Yep.
But I've had a conversation with him, and I helped him a couple of Sundays ago. We went over to the bar across the street here and did I literally had one line, and we did a scene from a short that he's doing, and interesting different ways that he records.
Cool.
He's very small budget, like
Yeah.
none. It's him and the crew that we didn't have that day. It was just he and I there that day. The crew is volunteer,
Yeah.
and they're trying to build the Pembina Valley Film Club, which is
Oh,
kind of
cool.
cool.
Sure it is. Yeah.
Just to get, he says, you know, I could go to Winnipeg and there's lots of spots, but it's expensive there. Like literally, I don't know if you've ever been to Morden and walked around it. There's probably 20 places in Morden where you could shoot a scene and sell it off as, Central Park.
Yeah, it's a
Or
nice town.
it's a great town. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So that's kind of exciting. Learning a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm back talking to Richard, although he's been busy. The other day, he became a grandpa.
Yeah.
So he's he's busy as it is. He's always got 3 or 4 productions on the go. But
That's
I
amazing.
just sent him a text and said, "Happy congratulations, Grandpa. I'll talk to you soon." Um, but the weird things that's happening now is, well, I'm getting asked to do a podcast. Me?
I'm gonna make you famous, Chuck. If
Oh,
the
good,
TV
good,
series
good,
doesn't
good.
work out, I'll make you famous.
And if it does, you can bill me.
Hell no, I'll pay you.
Um, I've been asked by the activities director at one of the senior residences here in Morden to come in for a Q&A in
Yeah,
mid-May,
sure.
because a lot of them know me because they've seen me doing
Oh yeah.
countless stage stuff in Morden and Winkler and Manitou and wherever. And then the craziest thing, a grade 12 student got my cell number from a fellow from City Hall. Um, she's the junior representative on the city council, and she's running a lunchtime Q&A kind of a uh,
Oh,
for the kids.
that's
And
that's
you
awesome.
talk for an hour, and she adjudicates it.
Yeah,
And you want me talking to high school students?
sure.
Like, I remember what I was like in high school students, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to listen to somebody like me.
No, they'd be thrilled. Like, I mean, again, like you're giving people hope, follow your dreams and do the shit that
Well,
makes
that's
you
the whole
happy.
thing. Do
Yeah,
do what makes you happy, and don't think
exactly.
that you have to decide what that happy is coming out of grade 12,
That's right.
because a lot of people that go into go into the first year university are they're taking nothing credits just to get credits to find out what
Yeah,
they want to do, which is,
exactly.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's got to be expensive, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah,
not every family is able to do that. Um, that was a big surprise that somebody from the high school wanted me to come and talk to her peer group, and some of these peer group people I've done shows with. So yeah, get Chuck.
So are
This
you
this
are you realizing how inspiring this is for other people?
I guess so. I guess so, and I'm glad. It
Yeah.
was pretty damn inspired myself. So I'm glad that somebody else thinks it's cool. There's many people out there that just shake their heads at me like, I don't know why you do that.
Oh, like I mean, it doesn't matter what we do in life. There's always going to be people that shake
Haters
their
gonna
head.
hate.
Haters gonna hate. What
Yeah.
did you, here's a question. I'll let you pick the way you answer it. So tell me about maybe a way that you grew as a person or something that you learned about yourself or something, a big takeaway from the whole experience.
Uh, geez. I learned that there's different ways to do things,
Yeah.
as I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, I watch television programs and movies differently.
Interesting.
Well, when you're watching a play and I'm watching the people in the
Yeah.
background because I've directed this play and I know what I would have had. Oh, well, now it's like, okay, that's a cool shot over his shoulder.
I
And
love it.
I learned that they call that a dirty.
Oh,
If the frame comes in and catches it's a little dirty.
you know
That's what
what
they
my mom would say was something, a dirty was something else. If my mom,
Yeah, well, that's why your mom and I get along so well. Because you know, uh, I learned that okay, taking off the microphone pack and the lapel mic at the end of the day is called okay. I'll pull your wire.
okay.
Come on, you tee it up like that. All I want to do is knock it over the fence,
I know.
right? You're making this easy. Um, I learned I learned that film is a lot of hurry up and wait,
Yeah.
and I learned that there's different stresses, but they come all at once. Like when you in a show or you're directing it or what have you, you're backstage and you're thinking things, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. When you're sitting on the set, they're getting ready for the scene you're about to shoot. You're thinking about the next one.
Oh,
You're not really listening to that because I got that. All I
okay.
got to go out and say blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Wait for him to say something like blah blah, and then she's going to say ha, and I'm going to go blah 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 ha ha ha.
That's awesome. Yeah.
My load as an actor on stage is often large, whether I have a large part or a difficult role to play, or I've got a smaller part, or sometimes a larger part, and I'm part of the directing crew.
Right.
I'm part of working with that or what have you. With this, you're just being paid to be one thing.
Fair. That's different,
Just
hey?
do this.
Do your thing.
That's your thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the rest, just be nice. Just
Yeah.
be nice.
Be a nice guy.
But you know me, like I have a sharp tongue. That I'm sure that took people back, because I always got the snappy answer back. I'm a smartass.
You're very
It's
quick. Yeah.
often my mouth is quicker than my brain. My brain is saying,
Oh,
hold it just a damn.
you you and me both. Yeah. I've written some apology letters in my day from my drama productions.
right. You just so I learned that about myself. I learned that I can drive in the city because I had to.
Yeah.
I hate
Did
driving in the
that did
city.
that bother you before? Like it wasn't your
Um, if Aaron and I go to the city, I will often drive to
yeah.
get to Oak Bluff, take pee break, and maybe have a smoke. But she always drives in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been a couple of exceptions, but if that's the case, she's in the passenger seat and she's like uh, the crew chief in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s ear. Like, yeah, you got a left come out in 1.2, 1.2, one here.
I love you.
I learned that I could do that
Yeah. Good for you.
semi-confidently because
Yeah.
if I knew I had to drive city, especially if I had to go to a meeting downtown,
Oh, yeah.
I would have anxiety the day before. I would barely sleep the night before. And
Interesting.
I know how lame that sounds, but we
No, no,
all have our
no.
shit.
Hey, I'm
That
glad that
and
you shared
spiders.
that. Because
Hey,
I'm glad that you shared that because, like you say, everybody has their shit. And I'm like driving, it bothers me a lot now. Being on a highway bothers me a lot.
is that right?
Yeah.
See,
It's,
I can just
yeah.
get on the highway and cruise. Doesn't bother me at all.
Well,
But if I was
yeah.
driving in the city and a spider went across the dash, I'd probably explode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's no need for spiders. I know there's a need, but I hate them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're little bastards.
The biggest thing that I learned, though, is I learned how terribly understanding my girlfriend is. Like, no word of a lie. I mean, she's used to the idea of me doing theater.
Yeah.
And like I said, she lost me for June and July because we were so focused on Fiddler and making it so big and so, fantastic.
Yeah.
But she gets it. She and I played Mr. and Mrs. Von Dunn in Diary of Anne Frank. That's where we met.
Yeah.
Um, funny segue story. They have sound effects in that show. We were about maybe 3 weeks into rehearsals for Anne Frank, and the director was playing some of the sound effects. One of which is the bombers flying over.
Okay.
Boom, boom. And I was standing over here, and Erin is sitting over there, and she goes, "Look, mommy, there's an airplane up in the sky." Do you know where that's from?
No.
That's from Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh, okay.
Like that's how Goodbye Blue Sky starts.
Right. Right.
Look, mommy, there's an airplane up in the sky. And I looked at her, and I said flat out, I think I just fell in love with you, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Now, she had a boyfriend and all that, but it was like very few people know the subtleties. Very fewer women tend to know the subtleties of Pink Floyd, The Wall. So we became kindred spirits. Backstage, behind curtain, while the director's introducing opening night, agree or disagree, that's got to be a person's most vulnerable time
Yes.
because
Yes.
you don't know what you've got until you get on the boards
Yep.
and do it.
You-
You think it's funny, but are they going to think it's that?
Hell yeah.
Your soul is exposed and you are vulnerable. And she was right beside me on opening night. Forgot to put on my lipstick, like the lip makeup. And I said to Patsy Penner, who was playing Mrs. Franck, I forgot to do my lips. And she gave me this look. You are not going down to the makeup room. Nope, I'm not. Erin grabbed my face and kissed me. There, you got lips.
That's the best
it
thing
was
ever.
it was just it broke the tension. But she was there when, as all we were nervous, exposed,
Right.
vulnerable.
That's right.
I was away Sunday night. I would drive into Winnipeg, and I spent most of my nights in Winnipeg. We texted, we FaceTime from time to time, but we didn't see each other. Saturdays became very sacred.
Yeah.
And we she did not ever complain. She understood. She was supportive.
Well, I'm
She
probably
got it.
super happy for you. And
She
that's,
was. She still is.
yeah. So she's the right person for you, right?
Uh yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done.
I like it. I like it.
It's not very many people that she's in her house, I'm in mine, and we're saying goodnight, and it's love you, asshole.
I love it. I love it.
And it's legitimate. I do love you. You are an asshole, but you're my asshole. So
Everybody needs an asshole to love.
exactly.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, I've learned quite a bit. I'm 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 grateful, like
Yes.
humbly grateful. The the superstar. No. I mean, thank you, because everybody's saying, "How's the movie star?" I don't know if I ever see him. I'll ask him for you. You're such a star. I'm not even an asteroid. I'm still the fat Polish guy. I'm still chicken man. I'm
Chicken
still
man.
Charlie to my family and Chuck to my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I I don't feel any different than what I was
And
before
that's
this all
magic.
started. I've always been an asshole.
And we love you. That's why we
I
love you.
guess.
And you know what's going to be so exciting for me to watch this show is number one, because you're in it, which is super exciting. And like you say, we're all super happy for you, but now that I've had the chance to talk to you, it's a show about a family, not just the family that we see in the episode, but the larger family of you and your new friends in the crew, like that
Uh,
family. Like that
that
to me will be very cool
and
to
I'm
just
so
know.
sad that you're not going to be able to meet these people on the times that you're watching the show, uh, because
I'll
they're
be
all great.
thinking about it. Yeah, now
They're all
it's
great.
yeah.
When I met the majority of them, it was I want to say it was the 22nd. It was just before Christmas, and we were having a group read through. These people, I was the last one cast. Some of these people were cast in July,
Oh yeah.
so they knew each other. I walked in knowing diddly and walked around, and I there was a guy, Tim, at the door, and I thought Tim was the pastor. Tim was our food service guy. He was there making that day the worst coffee ever. Worst coffee. I told him that eventually. I said, Tim, that coffee that you made on that Saturday, that was the shittiest coffee I've ever
That's
tasted.
the chance.
I think I could have used my grounds that are in the bottom of the garbage can and made a better cup of it. They were just, it was awful. It was just too weak. Um, we're going around, and I knew Kenton, and I had met Erna now because we'd zoomed and whatnot, but none of the others. I met the wardrobe person, gave her the clothes that she had asked me to bring because it was basically, apparently I'm Hank Friesen. I look at my closet and I think, I got some nice clothes. Nope, I got Mennonite, old fat Mennonite clothes. Um, Tim came into the sanctuary of the church where everybody was congregating, and he said, and Tim's a very soft-spoken man, but in a loud voice, he says, I am watching friendships forge through
Yes.
life
Yes.
because we're hey, are you playing Angelo? Okay, I'm playing Hank. I'm Chuck. It was that was a pretty cool day, like meeting all these people, and of course you're sitting in a circle, and people are coming in and out as we
Yeah.
go from episode 2 to 3, and
Okay,
that was
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah. So when is like okay, so when is it being released and are you having like is I know that when a movie is released there's like a premiere and like kind of an event like are you having like a an event or doing
I
anything when it's
I
released?
haven't heard of one. I've heard a lot of them being planned.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of my friends that I still know up in Russell, and he's planning an event,
Oh hell
and
yeah.
there will be copious amount of Gibson's finest and probably Labatt's blue beer.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it.
He's planning an event to have a few people over. We talked about it during the Valentine's Day supper that I actually got to eat, about maybe having a screening of episode 1 at the Kenmore here, where
Oh
in
yeah.
Morden, where Richard
Yeah.
owns it, and it has or we could do it at the Opera House, and we could use a
Yeah.
screen there too. Um, there's been people that are living out in Alberta that I know, and from back home, they're planning, gatherings.
I love it.
I hope it doesn't suck.
It's not gonna suck. Are you kidding? It's gonna be great. Like I said, like
Oh,
Dan Levy, like eat your heart out, man. Like
Dan
there's a new man
Levy.
in town.
What?
You know,
Where does Dan Levy come from?
from Schitt's
Eugene
Creek.
Levy, I could see.
Well, no, Schitt's Creek.
I know, but I'm Eugene's age. Dan's a
But
kid.
you're still sexy like Dan, though.
Oh,
You just
Judas
need new
Priest.
glasses.
No, or none at all.
Yeah,
Hank
there.
wears no glasses.
Oh, okay. There you
So
go.
I that's another thing I learned. I can wear daily wear or single use contacts. I can wear them
Okay.
all day.
Yeah.
I hadn't done it in a long, long time. I always use contacts for theater.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I buy them. So
Yeah.
when I phone the optometrist for a box, she goes, "Oh, you got a show coming up." Yep.
That's great.
And then when I ordered a box of instead of a box of 40, I ordered a box of 150. What the hell
Yeah.
have you got planned? I'm doing a TV show.
That's great.
So yeah,
Well,
that was something that was different. Going,
that is super cool.
wore a ring that left. I still have it. I kept my Hank Friesen ring.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So it comes out in the fall sometime.
Comes
Is
out in
that right?
September. It'll be all over Facebook.
It will be.
Um, like between myself and what I'll be posting and what I'll be sharing with the Maria and Mennos website. Yeah, if you miss it, you're not on crack book enough.
Well, I
And
live on there.
to that I would commend them, but I will
Yeah.
I will share it as much as I can.
Yeah.
You'll definitely know.
Yeah. I live on Facebook. And then I'm gonna need some advice down the road because I'm writing a book right now, but I'm writing two screenplays, and I've got one that is a very special project. It's about dementia, but it's a fun adventure. Indiana Jones dementia.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun to make things that aren't fun fun. Do you
Yeah.
remember Spot? Of
Yeah.
course you do.
Yeah.
When Spot passed away, um, his twin, Brad,
Right?
um, phoned me and said, I know this should be me, but I can't do this. You need to say the eulogy.
Yes. And you would be good at that.
It was the toughest job I've ever had, but it was also the greatest honor.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Um, so a Catholic church that's packed, and I have to, you know me, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit, but I
No.
am
And
in a
no,
church. I am in a church. So the stories that I have to say, the words that I have to use need to reflect who Spot was
yeah.
in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
Because maybe Grandma Zelinsky over there doesn't know about us. So you don't,
Fair.
Spot's mom came up to me afterwards and she said, you made what was bound to be a terrible day
Yeah.
a fun one.
Yeah. Good for
And
you.
I'm
Good for
so
you.
glad that and that was, meanwhile, I'm handing her. I don't even have a copy of the eulogy. I gave it to her.
Yeah. Good for you.
Uh,
Good for you. Like so much. You helped him so much.
well, and it was fun remembering, you know, all the stupid nicknames, for instance, but
Yeah.
Spot was Spot
Yeah.
because Stripe just didn't seem to fit.
You're the
uh,
best. Yeah.
so yeah, to do something about dementia and yet have it Indiana Jones with a little
It's
punch, a
really
little.
different. Yeah. It's a really different concept and idea. But I was thinking about it when I would visit dad in the home. So I gotta put it together, and then I gotta figure out how to get it released somehow. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I'm over the moon interested and curious. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
excited.
any
Yeah.
I probably am not the guy to ask for advice, but I know people.
I know people. You are the absolute best. Well, Chicken Man, it has been an absolute
Hour and a
honor.
half, man. Tell your husband I'm sorry.
Oh, he's used to it. He's probably glad to get rid of me for a while.
It's quiet upstairs. I can
I,
watch TV.
I know. Oh, for God's sake, finally she's leaving. You
Well,
haven't met these
thank you
yet,
for
have you?
inviting me.
Yeah.
It was exactly as I expected. We
Yes.
both sit here flying by the seat of our pants, bullshitting to our heart's content,
I love it. And we
just
need
like
to
it
do
was
this.
40 years ago.
Yeah, we need to do it more often. That is for sure.
Well,
And
I'm always doing shows.
but you know what? There's a highway between you and me, and I can't get on that goddamn thing.
You have a
Yeah.
husband?
It's getting on the highway. I almost got run over by a semi truck a number of years ago, and it's
Nah, I
ruined
remember
me.
you saying that on your Facebook
Yeah,
feed.
yeah, it's ruined me. I'm getting better, but it's a hit and miss. In the winter, never, never in the winter.
So you've got
So,
like serious perimeteritis.
and it's not because it's just the highway. It's just
Yeah, it's
the
the fear
damn,
of getting outside onto the highway.
yeah, and it's being on the being around the trucks and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Should you decide to come, do not take 75, even though it's four
Yeah.
lane. Even though it's four lane, it's very heavy truck traffic, and the
Yeah.
road bed is iffy at times.
Yeah.
There's a new highway from Oak Bluff to Carmen, and if you've made it to Carmen, you're like 20 minutes, 25 minutes away.
Yeah, that's true, eh? Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy peasy. Don't make me come there and get you, because if I'm
I
doing a show, I don't have time.
That would never happen anyway. You'd never. Yeah. So thank you very much, my friend. I'm nothing but proud of you and impressed, inspired, and all this stuff because I bet you that there are there are a ton of people out there who you will never hear from or never know about, who are watching your journey and thinking, shit, I can get out there and do my stuff. Whether it's
I
whatever it
I
is,
work,
there's
yeah,
people out
I
there
work with a
watching.
lot of young kids
Yeah,
and helping them. And when you see talent, you recognize it.
yeah,
And I always say, if you want to do it, do it.
yeah. And just have fun. Do all your
Take
dreams.
a chance. Don't don't be me and saying, I wish I would have.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, because I wish I would have taken this theater thing a lot more serious and moved to Vancouver when I had it in my head that I should go and do this. And I didn't.
But there's still time. You are Manitoba's Morgan Freeman, because he didn't start his career until later on, right?
Well, it's funny you say that because that's the example I used to Aaron. Like Morgan Freeman didn't do shit until he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
he
there you
did
go.
stuff. He was on the electric company.
Yeah. So there you go. There's still lots and lots of time.
I'm no Morgan Freeman, but thank you for the comparison. That's very kind. But yeah, do it.
Do it.
I tell young kids that all the time, and some of them have.
I
Some
love
of
it.
them actually. One of them is he's taking a year off, but he works celebrations all the time,
That's
and he's
awesome.
freaking good. And
That's
he
excellent.
actually played Dan Levy's role in Schitt's Creek,
That's great. I
and he
love it.
killed it. And he
I
killed it.
love
And I
it.
hadn't seen him forever, so it was good for all of us to go and see Brandon, and I think he was mildly surprised and happy that we were there, and we had
That's
a great
super.
chat afterwards.
That's super. That's super.
Do it. So,
Yeah.
Jode, do it.
Do it. Do all the stuff, right?
Do all the stuff.
Do all the stuff. Do all the
Hire
stuff.
a limo.
No. You gotta live stream your play.
We have done. It's got to be seen in person. You know
That
what
is
I'm saying.
true. That is true. Yeah,
Well, it's
well,
been an
thank
hour and a half, and I can't give that back to you, but I'm sure glad you took my hour and a half because this has been a blast.
this was so fun. This was so fun. Yeah. Thank you very much for everything, and we'll
It
keep
was
in touch.
my pleasure.
And I'll be watching that show for sure. Yep.
Adios.
Okay, see you later, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
And Chuck is gone, but I have to close the show out anyway. Chuck, you're a freaking rock star, and loved having you on the show. So, as I close out every show, buy somebody a coffee, pay somebody a compliment, go live your dreams, do the shit that makes your bum tingle, makes it tingle, lights it on fire. Life isn't a dress rehearsal. Have a good one, you guys. Bye bye.